Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are brand new here, welcome. I'm Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, and I'm really glad that you found me. Today is going to be a side-by-side video comparison of two astrology decks. They've been out, well, this one has been out for about 6 months, approximately, the Arcana of Astrology by Claire Goodchild. And this is that brand new release, the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Deck by Lily Ashwell. I just put up this past week, a few days ago, a complete walkthrough of the Heavenly Bodies deck. And I do have a full walkthrough of the Arcana of Astrology a little bit further back, but I'll put it down in the link in the description box below of both the unboxings in case you're new and you haven't seen them yet. But today is going to be a side-by-side comparison because I think many of you are thinking of purchasing an astrology deck, and you may not, know which one will suit, and you may be curious as to how they differ. Now, both are great learning astrology decks. If you know nothing about astrology, these two decks are great to dip your toes in and to kind of get an overview. From what I can see, I've been working actually this month with this deck, and I just got this one, but from what I can see, I've already worked and am working with this book, glanced at this book. They are both beginner friendly. The writing is very accessible for beginners, but the structures and what cards are included in each deck are a little bit different. So henceforth, the side-by-side comparison. So both are beautifully packaged. As you can see, this one is by Abrams Notary Publishing. This one is by Chico Books. And they've put out a lot of decks. So this is just a flip top opening with a full book, full guidebook. And then we have the cards in here. And I'm going to have to flip this over to get this out. All right, just a quick look at the packaging. And those are the gorgeous backs. And this is a beautiful magnetic closure. It does come with a paper sleeve, but I've since taken it off and put it away for safekeeping. But it's a magnetic closure with a beautifully textured mixed media, collaged interior. And the difference is the guidebook is hard in this the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck. Also, when you take it out, the deck is encased in another hard two-piece box. And you pull the cards out. Okay, so we are going to put the boxes aside, and we are going to take a peek at the guidebooks and the cards. So I'm going to get in a little bit closer. All right, right off the bat, you can see that there's a difference in the size. So the Arcana of Astrology deck here on my left is more of a regular traditional tarot size, whereas this Heavenly Bodies is edging towards more oracle size, traditional oracle size. Especially, it's much taller, and you can see I have small hands, but there you go. And there you go. Both have beautiful backs, but you can see that the Heavenly Bodies is going to be a more muted color palette, whereas the Arcana of Astrology is more bold. So I tried to order them, put the cards in order, which, will correspond with one another, because the decks are structured differently. So, first of all, I ordered them in the same way where, in the order where it's comparable, and then there's going to be a place where it differs. All right, here we go. So you've got the sun, so you're going to have the planets first. And then here is where the first major difference is. So we have the planets. Both decks have planets, but you only get one moon card for the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Deck. But this, in the Arcana of Astrology, you're going to get the moon phases, so every phase of the moon. Now, also right off the bat, if you see, more minimalistic with the Arcana of Astrology. And this is more traditional oracle because you're going to get some keywords on the card. So for the sun, you have self-express and embody truth. So that's a difference. This is much more minimalistic art. This has got a little bit more, you know, mixed media feel. All right, so if you like a bright, bold color palette, minimalistic, but you know, no keywords, this is probably going to be what you would jump for. This one's got a little bit more of a dreamy quality, the Heavenly Bodies. So here, you only get one moon card, and here you're going to go through all the phases of the moon. So waxing gibbous moon, it goes through everything. And you even get the a lunar and a solar eclipse. All right, so right here, right off the bat, we're hitting a major difference, you know, with what's included with the cards. Now, if you want moon phases or something, I'll show you a couple of decks at the end that maybe you can combine with this. So there's Mercury. So here we have some keywords: think, learn, network, and communicate, which is quite helpful, and I appreciate that. When I was working with this, you know, I always have to be looking at the guidebook, which is okay because I'm learning anyway. But once this has a little bit of a training wheels with the keywords here, or the phrase. Mars, so you see a stark difference in the color palette. And did I just, yes, I just kind of got this out of order. Do you see? So it's really potato, what, you know, grabs you, what is your aesthetic. You got a little bit more watercolory mixed media work going on here. You see there is a corresponding to the colors. Some of the colors are very similar. Oh, and here's a difference. Now, this deck does have a Chiron card, but it's put in a different place. So here, Chiron is put with the planets. So you will see Chiron show up here in a different place. So here we go with the Zodiac cards. And you can just tell they're so different. But when we take a look at the guidebooks, you will see that, you know, you can't lose with either one that you choose. It's just a matter of which one has the structure that you like, color palette, aesthetic. And I just thought I would do this so you can see what you're getting. Some of you may be trying to make up your mind. They're both mass market decks, easily available at your local bookshop. Amazon, if you're in the UK, probably Book Depository. It's just really what you appreciate, and I thought that a side-by-side would be helpful. I know, I would think it would be helpful if I'm trying to make a decision, if I only want one deck. Now, I have other astrology decks, but these two are really geared for beginners. I have some other indie decks, but they don't come with the great guidebooks if you're a beginner. Now, you will see that after the Zodiac cards in the Arcana of Astrology, there is an Ascendant card included. There is no Ascendant card in this deck. So now we are going on to the houses again, and you will see there are keywords for the second house: physical security, progressions, material values, and self-worth. And here you don't get any indication. So like I said, good training wheels for this deck. But if you like a very clean, minimalistic look to your decks or cards, bold color palette, this is great. And the fourth house, and they'll say here it's house 4, house 5, and 5th house. The 6th house, 7th, the 8th, and see there's purples here, and I appreciate there's purples here, some yellows here for the 9th house in both decks. And you just kind of see some similarities in the color palette. This is much more bold. This is, I think, a very soothing deck to look at. It's just so pretty. This is just a deck you can get out, and even if you're not doing anything, just to look at it. It's visual candy. Okay, so now we've ended the houses, and this is where the two decks are diverging again. So here we're going to go right into the asteroids, and Chiron in this deck is included with the asteroids. And in the Heavenly Bodies deck, you're going to see that we go to the major aspects here, which is not included in the Arcana of Astrology. So each deck has something the other doesn't. So that's why. Side-by-side comparison. So you're going to have conjunction here. But here you're going to have the asteroids. So opposition, and this is an asteroid, Ceres, Juno. Here you have Trine, Vesta, you know, so you're going, you've got asteroids here. You've got square. This is Pallas Athena, sextile, and Lilith. So this is where it diverges. You've got, and also you're still going with asteroids here. Okay, so we'll just finish that flip through. And here you're going, there's elements. So earth, air, water, fire, which is really, really good. And you're still continuing with the major, well, with the natural, this is the natural zodiac. So where you have the yin and the yang, or yin and yang, a card for cardinal, and the fixed. You know, some signs, if you're a beginner, some signs are fixed and some are mutable. So I'm a Pisces and my sign is mutable. And then you have cards for the nodes, the South Node and the North Node. So you can see that with both decks, each deck has something that the other doesn't. So this you're going to get all the phases of the moon, whereas this one you just get one moon card. And I'm going to look and see. Okay, so this has 54 cards in it, the Arcana of Astrology, and I can't see readily how many cards are in the Heavenly Bodies. Yeah, I can't see. It doesn't say, you know, where it's easily available. But like I said, each has something the other doesn't. All right. So just taking now, if you wanted moon phases, I know many of you may have the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck by Stacy DeMarco, where you maybe can put some of the moon phase energy into this deck, or the Moonology Oracle deck. Many of you have these two decks that you could add. So we're going to take a look at the guidebooks. All right, so you can see a major difference. Again, it's the color palette and design. It's potato, which one you prefer. Soft cover, traditional soft color. It's a nice matte, but this one, they really up the game. It's a nice, it's a hardback book, which really, you know, is something special for a mass market deck. It really is. So let's take one to the side and do a quick flip through. So you can see fully illustrated for the Arcana of Astrology, and it has those same bold colors, and it goes over, you know, it has a nice introduction to astrology elements, modalities, and polarities using the deck. And then you go into the zodiac. You have a full page, color page for each card. You get basic information, so the glyph, the planetary ruler, which house it's in, the element, modality, if it's fixed or mutable, the opposite zodiac sign, and symbols. You also get some keywords at the bottom of the book, which the Heavenly Bodies has on the bottom of the cards. So this does have keywords, but you have to look at the book if you're learning. So it goes over the astrological meanings, but then what the card means if you get it when you pull it in a reading. And you see how beautiful this is. Claire Goodchild's aesthetic and her photos and everything is always so visually beautiful. And then we go into the planets, and you see how the moon, you've got all the phases of the moon and the eclipses. Then you go into planets, and you know, when you go into the planets, it's got all the same information up top, the glyphs, the house, the element, and keywords, and you get all that great stuff. And look at how beautiful, colorful. It's got everything you need to start beginning. And then here are the asteroids. You get a page for each. You get a glossary of terms, which is quite nice. All right, so that was the Arcana of Astrology. We're gonna take a quick look-see of the Heavenly Bodies Astrology. Again, beautiful color palette. Great table of contents. Nice introduction. Just a different aesthetic, but both are wonderful. Again, the planets, the zodiac signs, just kind of an overview. The natural zodiac, the nodes of destiny. So, working with the deck to learn, to decode, to communicate. I do know if you go on Lily Ashwell, if you go to lilyashwell.com, she has a place where you can do your birth chart, especially if you know the time of the time you were born as well. Of course, you know your birthday. But I give you, what to ask the deck, how to shuffle. It gives you some spreads here as well, and then it goes into the deck. So what you get for each card, you get a colored picture, a good one that you can see. Kind of a little overview, and then you have keywords for energetics and experiences, and then omen. So what it can mean in a reading. So let's see. Let's just pick a card for each deck, just so you can get an example and an overview of what the writing style is like. Because certain language appeals to us, certain styles of writing appeals to us. So we'll just pick a card, and this is the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Deck. So for the South Node, let's see what it says about the South Node. And let me find what page it's on. Oh, towards the end. So 140. All right, so this is what you get for the South Node. All right. Where the North Node is the head of the dragon, the South Node, that's what I want. South Node. Where the North Node is the head of the dragon, the South Node is the tail of the dragon, representing what your soul is moving away from in this lifetime. This dragon is a karmic access, an imbalance you have incarnated to heal. Your soul aches to leave your South Node because you've spent precious lifetimes stuck in this space. So much so that you have underdeveloped its opposing realm. And while you're tempted to cling to the comfort of the South, it blocks the flow of your life. There's an unchangeable current carrying you in the opposite direction. Ironically, because you've clung to the South Node in fear, you've only gazed the surface of its offerings in lifetimes past. The beauty of your South Node is far from reach and is only found in letting go. Through murmuring the opposite realm, the North Node, you develop trust and learn to surrender. And through entering that current, you balance the access, finding peace and fulfillment. So keywords, the energetics are destiny and fate. Experiences are destined to release. So under the heading of omen, so basically if you pull this in a reading, reflect on the relationships and situations that have shaped you. Why were the challenges so difficult? What did they ask of you? Why were the moments of beauty so profound? How did they touch you? What wound haunts you, wearing different disguises? How have you met it each time? What message first spoke in whispers, then in screams? What is the lesson? What is the lesson life has been trying to teach you? Have you listened? What do you need to release? I think that's bang on beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay, so let's take Miss Goodchild's deck, the Arcana of Astrology, and just give it a little shuffle and see what we pull, and we'll find it in the book. All right. So we got Ceres or Ceres. So we will find that. I think that's in the back. In the back. In the back. Yes. All right, so this is what you get. The astrological glyph, and Ceres is known as the mother. Symbols: grains, nature, seasons, motherhood, full moon, and you get a lot in here. So keywords are nurturing, abundance, unconditional love, rage, grief, loss, beauty. All right, so I'm just going to read the section here for inner reading what this card means. Things are abundant in your life right now, and the potential for you reaching your goals is at its peak. You just need to stay focused on the things that matter most to you. Don't let minor distractions get in the way of that or influence your decisions. You know what is best for you, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. If you are going through a low emotional period, do your best to appreciate the beauty in the everyday. Eat nourishing foods and make beautiful art. Go for walks and reconnect with nature. Spend time with your loved ones doing things that matter. Material items and overindulgence will not serve you right now, so avoid emotional binges. When we are children, our parents are supposed to take care of us. They should hug us when we are sad and feed us when we are hungry. At some point, we take over this paternal role for ourselves, and if you are struggling getting things done, it could be that a wound from your upbringing is causing you to get in your own way. Equally beautiful and helpful. So the information in both books is extremely helpful if you are learning, getting into astrology. One more thing I'd have to comment on before I close out is the cardstock. Very similar in quality. Super matte, I would say about the same thickness. I would say these are pretty much the same cardstock. More on the papery matte side, but not flimsy at all. It's got, it's got some kind of a core. I would say both cards, if you're a rough shuffler, be careful, maybe of the corners, because if it doesn't have the kind of bounce back that, let's say, a linen cardstock would have, but it's not flimsy, it's not super cheap, it's not the worst cardstock out there, it's pretty good. All right, so they're equal with the cardstock. Both decks have beautiful presentation. Both books are beautiful, completely different aesthetic. It just depends on what appeals to you. Each deck has something the other doesn't as far as the cards, what cards are included, what cards were chosen. So, it's what appeals to you. What do you think has the most that will help you and aid you in your journey? So that concludes my side-by-side comparison of the Arcana of Astrology by Claire Goodchild and the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Deck by Lily Ashwell. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which deck appeals to your tastes? Do you have the Arcana of Astrology and still feel like you could use the Heavenly Bodies? And which one you think you'd get more use out of? Which one do you think has the best compilation of cards in aiding somebody beginning to learn astrology, especially for those of you who are experienced in astrology? Which deck do you think has kind of a more well-rounded program and system to it? And if you are brand new here and found any value to this video, please hit a like, a subscribe. I do a lot of unboxings and comparison videos side by side. So if that's your thing, yeah, consider subscribing. It helps this very small channel. And with that, I will leave you. I hope you are having a beautiful day, and I will see you real soon. Bye for now.